Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff. Welcome. We're doing our continuation of streams, getting excited for Scaventide and the new edition of Age of Sigmar in general. As always, since I do these kinds of videos live, there's so much information that I'm trying to absorb at the same time as everybody else. So I'm excited for this next week. I'm going to get back to making my normal lore videos rather than constantly trying to talk about what GW wants me to talk about. I'm excited for that. I hope you are too. But sorry, hiccup there. In the meantime, I have been working diligently with you, the stream, to put together these guys, which is my spearheads that come in the Scaventide box. Now there are more units and models. You have the big, Jezzail cannon and the Jezzails themselves. You have more Stormcast, but these are just the spearheads. It's all I'm really interested in. And so today I'm going to snag the Stormcast ones and we are going to speed paint these. And I'm going to speed paint these the way that a store manager would if he had no interest in Age of Sigmar. I'm keeping these spearheads for battle report purposes, but I have no intention of doing the entire army. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. A hiccup caught me at just the right second, and my throat was like, nope, we don't work anymore. We're past 30. Let's see. Oh, I got Nick here. Hey, hope you are well. I am well. Let me grab... I'm going to set this here on screen while I get my palette and stuff. I know that this looks a bit random. But if you're curious, this is how the objectives are laid out in Spearhead. Feel free to pause. 3.5 inch and 3.5 inch. Yes, it's weird, but if you put a 40 mil base in the dead center there, you're good to go. This is actually, by the way, so then it's 3.5 and 5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5 and 5. Over here, the measurements are 4 inches and 7.5. Those are for the corner ones, and then there's 3 across the center line. So I will set that there. Let me get the rest of my setup underway. It's like, man, I know I have a painting board here somewhere so I don't ruin my Appalachia mat. Hope you're doing well. What color scheme did you choose for your Stormcast? I am going to go Hallowed Knights. I did them a long time ago. Back when everyone was talking about Retributor armor. And I really enjoyed them. They're quite nice. Plus, they take really well to crushing things out real fast and speedy. In case anyone's curious, I have both the Spearhead and Core book near me. So if you have a question you want to throw out there, I can try to answer. Okay, so you got silver. Gunmetal, that'll be our main one. We'll need Retributor Gird and we'll keep it simple with some blue. Let's see. Alright, so yesterday's big news article, I'll just start chatting and hanging out as I can, was that they are retiring ye old War Scroll Builder app. I didn't realize it was still the passion project of someone. I thought for sure like GW Corporate had bought it or whatever. But I guess they don't do a whole lot of in-house development, is that right? Anyway. It's being retired, but they got a new system coming out. Always start with the Liberators. let's see. Hey, what models would you use to kitbash a little Stormcast human assistant? Thinking maybe flagellants and ideas. You know, there's a lot of great options. I've seen that discussed a lot. I would also kind of look at Necromunda weirdos. That's kind of a catch-all term for just like solos in Necromunda, because they use our stuff a lot. You can kind of go back and forth really easily. It depends on the vibe you want to go for. If you're looking for like religious zealots, yes, the flagellant kit bangs. it is good. The bits in there are so much fun, and if you have any religious inclination to your forces of order, it's a great kit to get just for the bits alone. You know, but there's all different kinds of vibes you might want to create. So it really just depends. Like, if I was going more scholarly, honestly, I did a cool thing where I took a Nurgle. I made a Nurgle wizard out of a Gene Stealer cult guy. They have a guy like in a cloak, and I made it look like he was like a Nurgle sorcerer. That was kind of fun. You could also make that like a Hish scholar or some kind of Wyndham magic user. What else would I say? Other human kits. I'm trying to think of other like box sets that are just a lot of fun human sculpts. But those are the big ones that come to mind. Necromunda weirdos. And really anything Necromunda, honestly. I mean, anything that's GW is going to be right the same scale, which is nice. That's like a whole selling point for kit bashing amongst us. House Cawdor would probably work well. Oh, that's a fantastic shout out. Cawdor are the, I don't even know why I didn't even think of that. Thank you. Are the religious zealots of the Necromunda universe. So like a lot of them have like big dark cowls and stuff like that over their heads, and a lot of iconography. They look like trash people. You know, flagellant style trash people. We do this on purpose, so it's not gross if it's a decision, right? Right? And everyone's like, no. Thanks, Doug. You're the best. Oh, I think Natatar definitely gave us the best suggestion. I forgot about House Cawdor altogether. But yes, yeah, if religious zealot is what you're going for, they match that motif nicely. I think they also have a few like 40k as like if you're looking for a witch hunter kind of vibe. You know, maybe instead of just loyal humans or religious zealots, you get the guys who are like, we're gonna go pick a fight with something evil. That's certainly a vibe you can get with witch hunter models from 40k. Yeah. Now, for anyone who has watched me speed paint before, you know how this goes. I take a color, I paint the model, and I put them to one side, in this case the left. And then when it comes to the next color, I just take them from the left, add the color, put them on the right. And we just basically, one viewer described it as painting ping pong, and that's how I like it. I'm trying to think of the most fun human type followers. Like, it would be fun to do something with like the Underworld's warbands, just to make it look like they were, what's it, reclaimed, I think is the kind of term they use when it comes to being saved from the realms. I'm just gonna get his little head thing here. That's, I don't need a silver dog. Gunmetal Gary. The most badass Gryphound in all of Azir. Here we got our prosecutors. All right, hard question. What do you like more, current prosecutor wings, these ones here, or the old Art Deco style ones? In general, like in a vacuum, I like the Art Deco ones more. Within the context of the rest of the army, I like these. Because I don't feel like they went that same direction for the rest of the army. They did initially. That first wave has a lot of that same kind of like architectural design, but then they moved away from that pretty quickly, I feel. So then they just kind of got left in the lurch. They were just kind of out there being Art Deco in a faction that was no longer like that. I'm basically going to come back and just repaint the wings from base, so don't care too much. Now the real trouble I'm going to have is what to paint the Skaven. Because the only thing I don't want to paint them as is anything green. I think that's the only one. Just because I want something a little bit different. I've been painting a lot of green with my Flesh Eater Quartz, like the green skin for my Hallowmorn guys. We're hanging out listening to lo-fi covers. If there's anything else you'd like to listen to or discuss, please go ahead and drop it in the chat for me. As inconvenient as the old ones are, definitely sell the idea of a magic jetpack more. I would agree with that. I think that's a fair point. Because they look more mechanical, right? Like, instead of organic. Navy blue. Oh, for the Skaven? Ooh, that could be interesting. Navy blue. I don't think I've ever seen a dark blue Skaven army. I mean, I'm sure it exists. I'm sure somebody's had painted it up. Nothing's new under the sun, as they say, but that could be very interesting. Yeah, the only thing, like, it's one of those things where, like, I don't like blocking off colors because I tend to like wherever my creativity leads me, but since their warp effects are typically green, I always like to stay away from that color when it comes to Skaven. Okay, well, did not know that that popped off as easy as it did, but now we know. What do we got here? Alright, we're just attack these shields real fast. Let's see. Realms of Ruin depicted them really cool. Each feather was a jet of flame. Ooh. I'll check that out again. I don't know if I've actually played too much with the prosecutors in that one. Doug, has GW said anything about when we will see the Bone Splitters and Beastmen rules for 4th? No, but I assume it's the same time as everybody else, which they're also being a little dodgy on. But, no, I have to imagine they come at the same time as everybody else. We'll see, though. Okay, so we got 1 layer silver down. What I'm going to do, if you guys have not used the Pro Acrylic paints, they are incredible. They are exactly the color you see on the bottle, but strikingly so, meaning that is a very, very light kind of silver, so I wanted to put a darker layer down of the gunmetal. And now we're going to go... Whoop, just punched my water. Back over with some silver, but just tickling the tops. Let me take a quick drink here. Okay. Does anybody have a favorite preview that they've seen so far of the new edition as far as stuff that you're excited for? There we go, and we're really just focusing on faces at this point. To avoid punching my paint too much, I'm going to do my shtick where I move everybody back to one side. Get my Griffhound's helmet. Boop, boop. I would love to know. I asked this in the chat yesterday, and then my feed stopped, loading, so I missed everybody's responses. But when the new edition drops, I am planning to start learning it and really focus on one faction at a time, so that I don't get overwhelmed. And I'm going to focus and start with Flesh Eater Courts. And I'm curious what everybody else is starting their focus with. Or, if you're a mad person and you're like, I want to try all the factions at once, and you're that kind of crazy, I would love to know that as well, because I know folks like that too. And that just always seems to confound me, because I just don't have the brain for that. You know, like, I was playing the early version of the game and was with other creators who are just much better at Age of Sigmar than I am. I was like, well, this won't be a good test of your game system's balance, but I will play, yes. Can't wait for full rules for Night Haunt. I have a very good friend who is a highly competitive player who has been able to play test, and he has a lot of armies. I said, what are you starting with? and he said Night Haunt seems to him to be by far one of the more interesting armies for his particular playstyle. He's a very tactical guy. So I'm thinking there's something there. If it draws his eye, I'm like, oh, there's something sexy there. I was just enamored with the Flesh Eater Quartz, and I think I am going to start Khorne, certainly. I mean, assuming they give Korgus a Demon Prince model when, or at least an alternative build. That's him, right? Maybe it's in a Bloodthirster type thing, or Demon Prince of Khorne, and it can turn into him. Whatever. But like, whatever it is, if they give Korgus a model, I am going to do Blades of Khorne. So that's probably going to be my next Spearhead that I want to paint up, at least for, you know, personally. Nice. Looking real sharp. Now you can't quite see it on camera, but that lighter silver sharpens these guys up so much. Just kind of adds a little bit of life to the metal. I'm pleased that Iron Jaws and Cruel Boys are separate. Emphasize their differences better. Yes. And I think it's good for the designers to not have to create every orc unit in a space where, well, this could be Iron Jaws or it could be Big Wah. You know, I mean, I don't know the details of how bad that was to, or difficult that was to balance. But I imagine it's annoying, especially if they're looking to cut things simplicity-wise. It's got to be up there. I'm that kind of crazy, but I'm going through my backlog of Skaven, so I want to use this Hell Pit Abomination that's currently on the table. Nice. I love it. If I was to ever do a Skaven army, it would be a Molder one. What are we doing next? Let's do the gold. I'm actually going to use this. Oh, where'd it go? Duncan's Gold. Dragon's Gold, sorry. By Two Thin Coats, Duncan Rhodes. But yes, Hellpit Abominations, every single time they're in a scene, they steal the scene because they're so gross and gnarly that, like, everything revolves around this heaping mass of horror coming at you. And it's hard to argue not. Okay, let me see. I'm getting myself settled with a new color, and then I will be back to the chat. Looking forward to... Oh, how's it going today? Good, man. How you doing? Looking forward to jump into my KO, but I also have the models for Idnith and Stormcast Spearheads. Nice. Oh man, if they're all built, yeah, just go wherever the eye leads. Knock these guys out real fast. Just gonna fill it in. I like that. Let's see. 7-9 brick. Dipping my toe into AOS for the first time. I picked up the Warhorde of Eternus box to get started with painting. Nice! That's a great choice. Oh wait, what am I doing? I should be doing the blue first. Because there's gold iconography. So when I paint, I typically go from the lowest layer to the top. And I forgot that there are blue bits that I want to paint that I don't want to paint with gold first. So I'm going to switch gears real quick. Just a smidge of water. Okie dokie. These. Okay. It was a good freaking model. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Good choice. You gonna build the Eternus as himself or the Chaos Lord? Yeah, there's no... I don't think there's a wrong answer there for sure. I'd love to see more of him, Eternus. I like the idea of it just not being the Archeon show. Like, he's a great character, but every time he's in a scene, he completely steals it, right? Like, he is the threat in every scene that he's in. He can't just be chilling. Is anyone going to be participating in the Animosity campaign coming up here? I have not been keeping up with it. I will have to look into it a bit more. I've been asked about it a lot lately. Oh, it really is just a shoulder blades. Okay. My thing with Animosity mostly is I have a lot of social anxiety when it comes to social media. So I tend to clam up and be more of a lurker than I am a contributor. And that is not what people expect from me. And so I am often... There's a lot of expectations put on old Doug of like, well, of course you're going to do this. Of course you're going to like it. And you're like, Sometimes I just want to hide and hang out with my cats. Is that too much to ask? I built Eternus. I also got the Chaos Lord on crack. I call him the Cracker Jack. Yes, that's a great model. That one just holds up so well. Like with all the Slaves to Darkness stuff they've added, he just always fits right in with all of them. The old models, the new ones. Okay, question for you, fam. Her armor is silver. Accents are blue and gold. What should the cape be? I've considered doing a blue cape. That would certainly pop. But before I do that, I'm going to leave it to the chat. What should the... I get this wrong every time. I think it's the Lord Veritant. That's going to be gold. Okay, pick out the details here. Purple. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Yeah. Are you going for lore accurate Hallowed Knights, or are you doing your own thing? No, I mean, I'm kind of doing whatever. I just wanted to do silver because it's easier to paint, and I just wanted to do something simple for the Spearhead. But no, this is my... Essentially, I'm painting a demo army for teaching people the new game, so I'm not, like, super tied up on official schemes. It occurred to me that the background of this guy I want a splash of blue in there. I think that's basically it for the blue. I need the blue to dry so I can paint gold over it. But in the meantime, I got another idea. One of my favorite paints, Sanguine Base from P3. This is of all the Stormcast armies I've painted. This will be the fourth time I've painted Stormcast in a distinct way. I have always loved this for like the hafts of the Stormcast weapons. It's kind of like if I had to pick a corresponding GW color, I'd probably say Barrack Nar Burgundy. It just always looks so good. Okay, we got a little tiny weapon haft here. Blue is a good cloth color. Oh, yeah. You got it right for once. Okay, nice. Doug, I watched your Spearhead video the other day, and it really makes me want to come back to AOS after not playing since second. Oh, well, hey, welcome back. Can I ask what about it had such an effect on you? That's very humbling, and yeah, that's awesome. And when you say come back, do you mean have you been out of the loop with like lore as well, or do you mean like just coming back to the game side of things? Alright. This is why Stormcasts are the best, because once I do this and add the gold, that's like 99% of their colors. It's glorious. Been killing myself for so long to paint just a bucket of ghouls and stuff like that. What are these? 12 nerds? Okay, yeah, let's do that. Lovely lo-fi beats. Yes, hope you enjoy them. I have always found that both music and company makes painting and building go by so much faster, as well as work and, you know, other stuff, but like, I'm here to speed paint. This is the kind of thing that a store manager could do like in an afternoon while customers come and go. And so I just wanted to show off how easy it could be. This is your daily reminder. If you have a local store, go raid their discount section for Warhammer Underworld's car sleeves if they have them. Because clearing out stock makes store owners happy. And they are the perfect fit for all things Spearhead. Also, a daily reminder that the Lord Veritant is the worst model to build in the set, but everything else snaps together unbelievably well. I was very impressed. I had that one snag with her on stream, and then I built the rest of them on stream as well, like for both the Skaven and Stormcast, and never had a single problem. And we are painting these. This is full 3-foot fabulous chic. Okay, you got that. Do you have any hidden daggers or anything? You know, like when there is always like a hidden weapon somewhere on this freaking thing. Alright. Blue is a good cloth color. Oh yeah, I read that right. I like the way you thoughtfully explored the options of the list. How it's simple but a thoughtful system. Sinks, don't stop me now. Yeah, you know, and that's good. I'm glad that you took that, because what I wanted to highlight was like, this is not kind Combat Patrol, the 40K iteration of this kind of same idea. And one of the people at the event where they previewed this stuff to us said very plainly, like, this is what we wish we were able to do for Combat Patrol as far as like format support and that kind of thing, of just an iteration of how to get started in the game and, you know, the steps that you need to do that. You know, that I do think it is thoughtful. I don't think it is just the oversimplification of take your starter set and plop it down. They're all supposed to be good against each other, which was what Combat Patrol admittedly said, but then didn't really deliver on it, in my opinion. I played a bunch of Combat Patrol with my Eldar, and I never once had a good game. I'm just whiting out the kind of like particle effects or whatever we're going for, the flame. Just to kind of break it up visually for me. I'm just putting a few white dots there at the bottom to make it look like the coals are right through. But yes, I am excited to see. I have already mentioned a few times I plan on running a couple of Spearhead events at the next Adepticon that I attend. Because the idea of cramming a whole bunch of simple 3-round events in like these fun little bricks of time throughout your con, how freaking cool is that? I'm going to paint her head white and we'll come back with contrast. It's the only helmetless Stormcast I have here. But yes, I'd love to do a team format, like doubles. Anyway, are there going to be multiple Spearhead sets for the same army? The only ones that we know of that have multiple Spearhead sets are Stormcast and Skaven. Because you have your existing stuff and then also the new ones that came out in Skaventide. Beyond that, no, but I really hope they do. In fact, what I really hope they do, if they can, this is all predicated on if they can play test and balance stuff well, is to really expand Spearhead like in a seasonal format. So like, you know, let's say all the factions that are included this are season 1, right? Maybe season 2, like, okay, now we have the Dark Oath Warband, and now we have, you know, just kind of like adding stuff to where you're of the same Grand Alliance, but they're not necessarily, or so not Grand Alliance, same army, but you're not necessarily stomping on each other's toes. We know that they can do this. For example, there's 2 Stormcast ones. One of them's in Drosta, which has the whole thing of like arcing in from the sky. And these guys don't have any kind of, well, they have some kind of deployment shenanigans, but nothing like that. Nothing where half your army doesn't show up on the board. So like they have no problem, I guess my point is, in articulating differences within a faction. But that's how I would like to see it done. Now I am highly debating for my wings, instead of going with the blue etheric flame, going more the Night Haunt Nihilic Oxide kind of color route. I think I would probably use a stronger color than that. P3 Arcane Blue is kind of the same vibe. A little bit more pigment. But that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Do we have any other strong contestants for colors? I just, for some reason, the blue flames on the blue accented armor guys just didn't do it for me. But I also don't want to go too far away. Like, I don't want to have to be green or purple or something like that where it's like super clashy. Let's see. How do you plan on tackling that fire, Doug? Because painting realistic fire scares me personally. Oh, well, the second that dries, I'll do it on camera. F it, we'll do it live. Yes. It's really simple. I'll show you. You just need 3 contrast paints and a can-do attitude. Newbie looking forward to Scaventide as first purchase. Watch the Path to Glory video. Looks fun. Awesome. Well, welcome, Matthew. Gonna have to grab a chariot to go with the Eternus box so I can play Spearhead. Oh, that's right. There is a... I forgot they still have a chariot in the Slaves to Darkness box. That's rad. I remember for Broken Realms, they came out with a narrative expansion that let you make a chariot your general. So you could have a Chaos Lord and a chariot as your army leader, and then like chariots would get all kinds of benefits or whatever. I thought that was rad, and I don't know why we're not back at that. I think that is the best. Take an existing war scroll, add these caveats, throw on the hero keyword. Go. Oh, hey, tabletop minions! What's up? Been working on Skaven Spearhead. Lots of rats to paint. Hope you're doing well. I am, buddy. Yes, I am, I was like, man, I'm pretty sure I can knock out these Spearhead things like in 4 days. You know, I have 1 day to build each one of them, which I did. And then 1 day to paint each one of them. And the Stormcast one, I'm still feeling pretty good. I can get this done in a day. Probably in this same stream. The Skaven one, I do not know if the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. The buns are cracked and begging for a break. I think the bigger threat is that I'll get cooked out of my office. We're having a wonderful 96 degree day, something like that. Something gross. Let's see. All right, I'm going to ask you, Adam, what was your least favorite model to build from the Scaventide set? So we're going to get some opinion here. If you're still watching. If not, that's cool. But I've talked about it at length. For me, it was the Lord Veritant. I hated the arm assembly. And if you go back to watch that first video I did live of building these guys, I struggled on stream. It was, I'm sure some people like threw tip in the tip jar just out of pity. Oh, man. Let's see. Bright orange? Oh, that could be interesting for sure. Try pastel seafoam speed paint from the army painter. I've been painting ghosts. Oh, I've seen your Death Wizard ghosts. That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that. My local store actually just got the big shipment in of Army Painter stuff, so I will go check that out. Seafoam. I'd love to see the Gray Seer was kind of a pain. I could see that. I could see that for sure. Army Painters. I'd love to see the Idolater Lord come back, maybe as his own model. Yeah. Let's see. Army Painter Speed Paint is goated. So I never really tried them. I'll be honest. I like the GW ones. The one time I tried to work alongside Army Painter, they sent me their like terrain thing, and it was right when a family member passed away, and so I fell behind, and then I just felt terrible. I wasn't living up to what I had promised as a content creator. And I eventually did the video, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of spoiled my my welcome there. And then when Speed Paint started coming out, I had a bunch of contrast, and I adore Pro Acryl so much. Funny enough, it is this bottle of white that got me addicted to them. I was painting up my white Stormcast, the Knights Excelsior, and my buddy Robbie, before I moved, was like, "You need to try this." And he was always more into the painting side of miniatures than the gaming side, and I loved that. And I was like, the apathy threshold for paint brands is pretty high for me, if I'm totally honest with you. I've had this conversation with Vince Ventrella multiple times where he's like, Retributor armor is the worst gold ever. GW golds are awful. And I'm like, well, it looks gold, which means what? It's by definition a fantastic looking gold. And he's like, no! And I enjoy that. But that is basically the extent of my understanding of color theory. And then when he's like, okay, well, can I buy it for you? And then you try it, and if you don't like it, you don't have to worry about it. I'll never bother you again. I was like, okay. So he bought this, and the coverage, like, I guess I've never noticed opacity as its own strength or weakness in paints before. P3, like, it's a lot of layers, generally. GW paints are kind of just, I don't know, hit or miss. Like, oranges are kind of hard, a lot of layers, but then they have, like, Mephiston Red, which is incredible in one coat. So it's kind of a paint by paint. And I have never had anything but good things to say about a Pro Acryl color. Coverage is incredible. It's incredible. Let's see. I find the GW Metallics too thick and gummy. That's fair. That's fair. Hey Doug, trying to get that prototype knocked out. Oh yeah, if you guys don't know, I have no idea how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry, but you're helping me come up with a web app for Spearhead, because they don't have any digitized way of doing the card thing yet that they've announced. And so far, Goonhammer hasn't shown any interest in doing it, really. I mean, they're busy making their own tabletop war game app or whatever. How many twist cards are there? Each realm has 6. I'm with you, Doug. Retributor Gold is fine. What paint is he talking about? Oh, the golds. He's talking about Retributor Gold, I believe. Okay, let's see. Clean that sucker off. Are you dry yet? Can we paint you? Not quite. I am keeping an eye on that, though. Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn my fan on. Might dry stuff out a little bit faster for me. Oh, there we go. Jamie Daggers, hey Doug, hey chat, hey. What is up? Okay, I got my fan going, so hopefully she will dry a little faster, but I will do those flames before we leave. And now it's time for me to bust out my gold again. Well, for those of you who are deeply concerned about my gold choice, I am trying the only 2 thin coats Senpei Duncan paint that I own, which is the Dragon's Gold. It's quite nice. Knock these out real quick. Let's see. How perfect do you try to get your minis? That's a fantastic question. Oh, wait, the chat just jumped. Where'd it go? Matthew. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to say your name and then the chat moved everywhere. I have a policy that I have talked about on the channel that I call 3-foot fabulous, which is to say, the standard is not how much detail do you capture, but how does the model look when you look at it from the table the way you are going to be looking at it when you play a game. So when you and I play a game of Warhammer, I don't have my face up, my Retributor's butt. I just, he's on the table, and he's about 2 to 3 feet away, depending on how tall you are, how high the gaming table is, or whatever. And so if they look good at 3 feet, they look good, period. At 3 feet, you can pick out a few different colors. It also fits into that, the classic paradigm of faces, bases, shields. You can notice all that from 3 feet. But rather than being like a technique, it's more of like a standard for when you're allowed to stop caring. The same way that we say parents only have to stick at it 18 years until your kid's gone. It's like, well, yeah, that's the agreed thing when you're not responsible. That doesn't mean you stopped caring. Right? Right? Gestures around for parents. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. Since I have tabletop minions here. So the last time I saw you in the wild, you were wearing a Last Podcast on the Left shirt, and I want to know what your favorite episode or series is. I told my wife that you were wearing one of those shirts, or maybe it was a jacket or something, and she freaked. We listened to a lot. Probably too much. For us, it is the Casey Anthony. This is a comedy true crime podcast, in case anyone's curious. Definitely not safe for work. I'll use Dragon's Gold personally now. Nice. You remember you mentioned your Path of Glory video, but are you actually going to open a submission story contest for your Flesh to Court Path to Glory army? I have definitely thought about it, mainly because I'm not brimming with ideas for them, if I'm honest with you. I don't know why. I just have a little bit of a block right now. Probably because I've been reading too much. I find if I put too many ideas in, they rarely ever come out. So, yeah, I think I should do that. I mean, I don't know how many people would be interested in just writing about flesh eater quartz, but I have noticed from the events that the painting contests that I've done, because this will be my third or fourth. I think I did one for Conquest. One thing I've noticed though is the more specific prompts I give, not the better quality of work, but the more focused work, right? Like if I say, write a story set in AOS, that could be anything. You could adopt any kind of fantasy to be AOS, and that's fine. I love that you can do that, but it also makes it very hard because there's very different kinds of literature to read. So I don't know. Sam Lenz. Oh, when I go see Last Podcast live in Milwaukee back in 2017. Trying to think of a favorite. Maybe Jonestown. Jonestown was the one that made me stop and listen to the show because of how well researched it was. I was kind of hopping around a bunch of different things. That's definitely high on our list as well. I would have killed hanging out with the two coolest people in Warhammer the last podcast. You kidding me? I know that we knew they were coming to Milwaukee, but my wife had she's an author, and there was a book signing the same weekend, and we were traveling. I was like, babe, do you need to have a career? That's a joke. She does. She pays for the whole operation. It's a 5-part series. Yes, was amazingly well researched. Exactly. Yes, very much enjoyed it. That'll make Jess happy. I'll let her know. Oh, man. Let's see. You paint shields before assembling? That's so smart. Well, I don't want to take too much credit. This is the first time I've ever done that, and normally I'm very obstinate to the idea of learning lessons, so I don't want to make it seem like this level of competency is not par for the course. This is a decided choice. But I only did it because they are snap fit, and you don't actually have to glue the shields on. Like, they just pop right on. I'm going to when I'm done, just to make sure I don't lose any. But I wasn't worried about a situation where like I couldn't get them into the right angle, and then, or you put them in a pose and you try to put the shield on when you're done, it doesn't quite fit. So that's why I was a little bit more apt to leave them off. But yeah, knock these guys out. Oh man, I forgot how much I like painting their armor. They're just fun to add color to. They come to life very, very quickly. So do Skaven Clannies have a bunch of head options for the leader and such? So you get my understanding of the sprue that I was looking at is you get a set of options for the leader. And when I say options, I mean like aesthetic options. There's one where he's kind of like a more pestilence head, a verminous head. Was Esh in there? I can't remember. There's a couple different kinds of heads for the leader, and I think that's how you'll define a lot of the quality. Or the, what kind of troops they are. Then as far as the rest of it goes, There was, I think, 2 options for banners, 2 options for musicians. Because it's like, I think it's 1 in every 10 models can be whatever, so might be wrong about that. Anyway, there's a bunch of options. Head options specifically, not so much, I didn't feel. I didn't feel like there was a overwhelming amount of choice there. But weirdly enough, I did feel that way for the prosecutors. I feel like there was a bunch of head choices, and I was like, this is cool. Did I get her weapon? Boom. Regular clan rats are pretty much 2-part models. Yes. And they're glorious. Never since the days of the original Slaves to Darkness warrior has a model been as easy to assemble as piece 1 to piece 2. Add glue if you feel necessary. And I was very impressed by that because I was... Plague Monks broke me from ever doing Skaven again. I painted so many Plague Monks, guys. And so, I was like, I don't want to have to build this. This is going to give me Plague Monk PTSD. And then I went together really quickly, and I was like, this is great. What is everybody else working on? I got Stormcast on the table. I know Tabletop Minions is doing Skaven. Working our way through. Got the Liberators mostly done. I think after this I should be able to do the fire for Alec-Man. Looks like it's about dry. And if you really want to, you can come back at the end and do touch-ups. But like I said, these are for demos and or battle reports where the camera doesn't get too close. It's still a little wet. I don't know what dingus drenched that sucker in white paint. Okay, we'll keep going. It's almost there, though. We'll have it knocked out soon. I've never painted a Skaven army, hoping maybe the new box creates an overabundance that'll gnaw a hole into my hobby studio. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the Plague Monks broke me. There's no way around that. Actually, it occurred to me, I want the shield to be mostly silver except for that writing, so I'll stop there. We can touch up his silver on his shield later, but it occurred to me if I trace the entirety of the shield, it won't have the same kind of look, and I like it. I'll grab this little box on the back just to add some variation. Add his butt rosary, which for some reason needs to exist. Nice. Let's see. I wanted to do Androstenex, but I can't bring myself to use a bunch more metallics for some reason. Oh, you just don't want to paint it? That's fine. Go on to something else. Find something organic. Paint 40 clan rats. That will make you yearn for the simplicity of a Stormcast set of armor. Let's see. Stormcast looking good. Thank you! They're coming along. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was painting it like it was one of the subordinates, but the leader's shield has the text on it that I want to be in gold. The rest of these just have a solid symbol. Let's see. The new shop I've been working with. Almost didn't get there. Oh, there's sheets in? Yeah. What is it? Other than been meaning to magnetize the gnaw-hole sticks so I can put them together at the table. Do they not just pop right in? For some reason I thought when I had mine I was able to like have them separately, like Lincoln logs, and then I would just like pop them into place. Maybe I cut something off and made them do that. I don't know. But yes, gnaw holes are a it's up there with Terrorgeist wings for logistical challenges that they didn't seem to think too much about when they made this model. Also the Pallador's javelin. And anything for Adeptus Mechanicus. The longer I think about it, the list keeps getting longer of models where it's like, you guys know you have to transport this to a store to play a game, right? Follow-up question, why do you hate us, if that's the answer? Let's see. Okay, got stabbed over the nightmare that building Terrorgeist wings. Oh yeah, I clipped mine. I clipped the last maybe half inch of the wing. And so just enough to where wherever it clipped down would be a flat edge rather than a spiked nub. But yeah, I got tired of it. And not only that, it takes up like that little tip on its own took up like 2 racks of my magnetic tray. I'm like, so not only are you a pain in the butt to store, but you hurt when I play the game. So like, nah. Gave him a wing incision. Yeah, let's see. Oh no, what is it? Not wing incision. Wingectomy. There we go. Just trying to think of the Bob Ross term when you would like scrape trees away. Okay, I'll do that. Paint the door. My first one didn't have a shoulder painted. Yeah. Okay, time for a regular checkup. All right, I think we're ready to do some fire. So let me get my paints out. Elecman, this is for you. We're going to learn how to paint fire quick and simple. First, make the fire parts white. Step 2, leave everyone in suspense while you gather your paints that you should have been doing in the background. This is important as it builds a lot of anticipation, which will help the paints dry. For science reasons. Okay, here we go. Shaking them up here. So, we have Eandon yellow, Griff Hound orange, and Blood Angels red. Okay, let me pull up a quick piece here. All right, so for most of our fire colors, if we're looking here with the Googles, it goes from a lighter to the more red and then the smoky black on top. So we're going to start with yellow and then progressively get into the orange and then the red as we work our way from the hottest point where the coals are outward. So, and we're doing this all while it's wet, by the way, so there's no downtime. This is a 30 seconds and you got fire situation. So we take our yellow and I'm going to just really load up this downward section. It's on the darker side because I left a bunch of the metal bits exposed because I kind of wanted it. I want to go back and add some coal effects, but we'll do fire now. Okay. Now, okay, so as we can see here, there must have been like a small drop of white paint left. It's got something's mixing into it. That's all right. Nice thing about white paint, it takes to color real quick. Who would have known? So now we got ourselves a yellow tube here, or a yellow flame. Here, we'll just build up a smidge more. Here we go. Next thing we're going to do is grab the orange. So, once you got your yellow done, Now we're going to take the orange, and I want you to start at about the halfway mark and go up with the orange. It's a little bit easier when the flames aren't obscured by this metal rail here. Again, we're leaving some of the yellow exposed. We're just giving it a little flick. And you can always go back and add more layers if you feel like you need more contrast there. So now we have a few flames that are sticking up with some of the yellow, some of it's orange. Now the same thing with the red, except this time we're going to start halfway mark of the orange rather than the yellow. So just our last little quarter here is getting some of the red. And I'm barely putting any on. I'm just kind of putting a little on the edge and then pulling some of the orange up so it blends together. That's it. I'm just flicking the very tips of the flames with some contrast, and then you go and you pull the orange up to it. You want to make sure you leave some orange. Don't cover all that up. If you go back, you can always start again, but that's basically what it is. And when this is done, if you want to go even further, this is pretty basic flames. You can tell it's fire. It looks like fire. You'll go back and pick out the metal bits because there's like a rail here for the sensor. That's going to frame it and break up the colors a lot, so it'll look good. You could also give the whole thing a yellow wash if you want to deepen the yellow. And the last bit is if you want to dry brush black or smoky black on the very, very tips of the flames, it would give you the full effect. That's all stuff you have to do when it dries, but yeah. I will do that one more time real fast on the sword, so you guys can see it again. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Master Pancake Theater. It's basically Mystery Science Theater 3000, but live. It goes down in Austin, Texas, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does. And I went there and I watched Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. And they would constantly do this bit that was like, panning on Kevin Costner. I wonder if I'll do a British accent today. And the first thing the cast says is sword. And you're like, nope. Okay, so that was our yellow layer. Orange, halfway up it. Half. Just half. Always got to leave some yellow. And the last one for the tips, Blood Angels red. There we go. That's probably the best shot right there. You can see the different colors and they build together. GW, it works because the way that they sculpt flames is very textured, and so just throwing on a little bit of contrast can really add to that. Battleborn, are you going to put some more Fallout Wasteland Warfare once the 4.0 train calms down? Yes, and I'm also waiting on Modifius. They had some issues, I think, with their American distributor, or like whatever their storage, I can't remember what the word I'm looking for is. I'm waiting for that to be resolved, but yes, I am. In fact, my next video, I already have the notes for it, is about playing games with AI. I had a bunch of questions about it since I did the battle report using the AI. And so I'll be walking through kind of how to play that out with folks. It's really simple. If you want to see a company that doesn't mess around with their app development, Modifius has got that on lock. I would say the same for Conquest, Last Argument of Kings as well. Which I'm excited to cover again. They actually just sent me a narrative expansion they launched, which went completely past my radar. Are we sure to remember this when I get my own Knight Barrington Knight Questor? Yeah, I hope. Let's see. Thanks, Doug. Do you have any advice on how to deal with the slump I find myself in? That I could keep it going until Scaventide box? Oh, you're talking, broadly speaking, how to get out of a painting slump? Everybody's different. And sometimes you just need to let your brain relax and do other stuff. My quote-unquote other stuff tends to be video games. So just kind of put that in the back of your head that sometimes you just need to give your eyes a break so they can come back fresh. But that said, what I really recommend you do is paint up something small. Something that you can accomplish quickly. So, for example, if you have any Underworlds warbands, those are one-and-done painting projects. Generally pretty easy to knock out somewhat quickly. So something like that is what I'd really recommend you do, just to keep yourself in the habit of it. It's tough. Everybody paints for different reasons, so like I paint to relax myself. So if I need to not paint for a bit, that's fine, right? Like I'll just take my chill somewhere else. Go play some Far Cry. Okay, and most of her business is covered up by the robes. And last character is Boss Hog. Gonna blue fire on your... Nice. I did fun green fire on my Skaven and the terrain bits. Ooh, we'll check that out. Yes, I haven't... My wife has recently gotten into resin, like, crafts. Like, not like printing resin models, but like pouring resin for jewelry and stuff like that. And recently we watched a hobby channel where someone took the resin that she uses, that you would normally use for jewelry and the like, and created like a almost like an arcane blast. Like they just took sheets of the resin that was frozen that way, or frozen in place, and like created just different like semi-opaque sheets, But then when you layered them together, it made it look like somebody was doing like an arcane blast out of their hand or something. It was pretty cool. So we're going to play around with that a little bit. With some blood colored effects, see what we can do for my Flesh Eater Quartz. Keep you posted on that. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I made it to this point before I realized I still have to paint the stupid Griff Charger. I'm sorry, Griff Stalker. Totally different. He's got a beak. A mean beak. I do have a few Underworld bands on the back burner that I could work on. It's a pretty good idea. Highly recommend. And the reason simply is because there's an enthusiasm and a dopamine hit that feels good from just realizing not only did I paint a thing, but I finished a project. You put a dent in your backlog. It's a small project, but it's a project. And it just feels good to win. And sometimes the hardest part is just getting back on the bike. This guy has the most absurd headdress in all of AOS. This is so over the top. This guy could not move. He couldn't even do the Batman turn where he kind of just shifts his whole body. Where'd all these friggin' rats come from? Under your feet, because you can't look down. You literally can't look down. You are so swole, and your armor is so intense. Been scaving at your feet this whole time. Okay. Looking good there. Alright, they're coming along. Stormcast are basically... sorry, the Stormcast. The Liberators are just about done outside of a wash. Prosecutors are the same outside their wings. She really just has her face in cleaning up the staff, and for him it's just a matter of his axe and the beast. What are we at, an hour and a half? Picture that guy getting his headdress stuck in the doorway of a porta potty. That'd be incredible. At least they don't, I mean, I feel like at least they don't constantly give us stories of the Space Marines give us stories of Stormcast acting like Space Marines, where it's like this 9-foot tall behemoth is somehow the stealthiest thing in the world. He moves like a cat. He fades into shadows. And you're like, he couldn't fit through a single door in this ship. At least they don't try to make the Stormcast sneaky, right? They're like, it's an obelisk of a man. I dare you to walk in front of him kind of a deal. Which I'm like, you know, fair enough. If you're going to walk in front, don't walk in front of the guy. Oh, man. What do I want to do? Okay, I think I know what I want to do from a beastie. So I got Smoke Black, which is different than guess block. Isn't it crazy Keaton come back and do Batman and Beetlejuice in the same year, just like the... Exactly, yes. Exactly. Who would have thought the old adage about broken clocks being right twice a day would be the same for Michael Keaton, right? He's got his moments. Twice a lifetime. That's it. That's all he gets. He gets 2 moments of sunshine. And then, like Michael Bublé, when it's not Christmas, he goes back into his cave. Ne'er to be seen or heard from again until... I don't know. We're here in 20 more years and they're doing the Beetlejuice 2 reunion. Okay, I got the base coats on that going. Time is a flat circle, exactly. We didn't come back to Michael Keaton. The world just revolves around him, and now he's just back in our view. He's been waiting for us this whole time. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at the wings now. I was given a good suggestion to go check out the Seafoam Army Painter, which I will. I'm going to wait on the wings. I want to try that out because I've never had a reason. Like, there's never been a color specifically I've been looking for that I need an Army Painter to solve, so I'll hold off on those. Let's really quickly. We're going to knock out the rocks everybody's standing on. Karim, hey man, just discovered your channel some weeks ago and I'm devouring the... Oh yeah, thank you. Devouring the AOS lore. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I'm excited to get back into it. Been spending a lot of time focusing on game stuff, like understanding the rules and getting ready to answer questions and stuff like that. I'm just excited to get back to telling stories. To that end, I have been working on my notes regarding 4th edition, anything that's changed. It seems as though the big takeaway is Skaven are now here. That seems to be it. So we'll see. We'll see what the next part to that arc is. Full transparency, the pastel seafoam idea came from Phil the Glacial Geek. He painted ghosts that way for death. Oh, nice. Well, I happen to love Phil the Glacial Geek. Big fan of his channel and the only battle reports I watch for 40k. Because liking the person is half the battle. I say that in jest. But you know what I mean? Like in terms of like people's personalities online, that kind of stuff. You gotta jive with him. Phil's always been awesome. He's always had that kind of enthusiasm that it's just easy to support. Okay. I'm thinking of doing a sort of a sickly flesh tone on the Griff whatever's legs, like its skin kind of a thing, having more like a undead vulture kind of look to it. Personality goes a long way, for sure. Now, whilst I have that gray upon my palette, grab. As a newbie, I feel much more comfortable investing in recently refreshed models. Oh, sure. I'm really just trying to pick out the feather tips here. I want him to retain his crow-like tenacity. Okay. And we're just speedy dry brushing here. Just picking out details on our big bird. Yeah, let's see. Get his melon right there. Here we go. Went from kind of dumpy to kind of classy real quick. We should all be so lucky. And next we'll grab Decomposed Flesh, which is my favorite AK paint. Because it's my alternative to Xandri Dust. Water drop is right there. All right. And like I said, we're just going to work our color up a little bit. I want this to be a fair transition. Okay. Afternoon. I think Liam Dempsey does good work. Just haven't seen many of his reports because I don't think I know who that is. You got the kind of dumpy part halfway covered. Exactly, yes. I'm unstoppable. Well on my way. back with a little bit of the black, kind of work that back down. Here, we'll do a little wet blending there. And let's see. Yeah, look at that. Claw's coming along. Liam is 40k content creator. He does good work. His channel has a garage hammer kind of up. Okay, sweet. Well, heck. That's a heck of a sales pitch. I like garage hammer. I checked off a bucket list item by being a guest on his show at one point recently. But yes, he actually, his end times coverage is what originally got me into Warhammer in general. At the time, I don't think a lot of us really understood what the end times was going to be at the end. But no, he did a great. I love his breakdowns of the books. And now my only regret is that because I cover them myself, I tend to not listen as much as I used to, which is a shame, but I still listen for Dave because he's a great guy, great host, community member. That skin pops nicely. Thank you. Just wanted to get a little something blended with the first layer, and then I can go back with the skin tone and kind of strengthen it towards the claw bottoms. But I think it looks pretty cool. I wanted to have the black skin and black feathers. I mean, that's how my cat is, right? Black fur, black skin, but still have the little claws pop. Oh, yeah. And then it'll look really good once I get the cape done and it breaks up that color a bit, but I am pretty dang happy with that, I won't lie. It's not just good, it's good enough. Okay, just finishing up the base layer of that hand. I forgot to get the back side of it. That's all right. Nice. I like that. He looks good. They look good. Prosecutors look pretty good. Let's throw some contrast skin. What do we got? Nope. Dark Oath Flesh. I heard your podcast with Dave. Great fun. Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's mostly a 40k guy, but I love his more casual streams. Been chatting in them all the time lately. In fact, he's looking to branch out to AOS and make Tuesday dedicated AOS Day. What's the name of the channel? Is it just his name? the real gift that contrast and really any other speed paint has given us is that Doug does not have to paint skin anymore. Hate painting skin. So I just do contrast with Cadian flesh tone on top, and it looks pretty dang good. And all right, back here. Grab the paint that started all this mess, gunmetal. But yes, I had a wonderful time with Dave. That was a dream come true. So what I'm doing right now is just going along the rim of that brazier just to repop the silver color again. I don't worry too much about like object source lighting and stuff. If you're worried about that, you come to the wrong channel. How about that? And I'm going to re-strengthen some of the brazier like rims. Go check out my buddy Vince Ventrella. He'll hook you up. He'll bust out a 12-point diagram about how light works. Okay, where are we? Where do we stand? We got her. I just need to do a few little finishing touches on the face and her cape. This guy's cape as well as a few little highlights on the Griffstalker as well. Both of them have a bunch of little like tabards and purity seals and junk like that that have to be dealt with. Let's do this. Let's do that. There she is. So we got our shields. We got our boys for the shields. There's only 4 shields because this guy has a double hammer. Jonky Griffhound. And our 3 prosecutors. We did good today. This was good progress for 2 hours. I would not be ashamed to put this on a table for a demo for sure. And just needs a little bit more work. I think we'll finish it up tomorrow. Each spearhead taking 2 streams is probably reasonable. It was probably a bit unreasonable for me to be like, we're gonna knock this thing out in a day. They're not Necrons. Can't be doing that. But anyway, friends, I have been really enjoying the AOS 4.0 stuff. I'm a bit frustrated that I can't talk more about it and we just don't have all the information. I made a meme that was UFO conspiracy theorists and Age of Sigmar fans, and there's the Venn diagram, and the overlap is release the documents. But that's basically how I feel right now. I'm going to keep painting up Spearhead stuff because I think it's a fun format and I want to keep doing it. I hope that you'll join me throughout the week. This week I am finishing up the last of my 4.0 content, and then we're going to jump back into lore as well as Conquest and Fallout Wasteland Warfare, all the stuff that I wanted to do. It's just given AOS its time. But anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you next time. I wish